We're holding in the middle of the 3 weeks, which is Nogea to the Churban Beis HaMikdash. So we're going to talk a little bit about what caused the Churban of the Beis HaMikdash. Now we know there's a famous Gemara that everyone knows. There's a Gemara in Yuma that says the Churban, we're going to talk about the Churban of the Bayis Sheni. So the Gemara over there says the Churban of the Bayis Sheni came about because of Sinas Chinam. That is a very famous cloud that most people know. But there's a different Gemara in Bamitzia, in Elu Mitzias, which says a different shot. What caused the Churban of the Beis HaMikdash? The Gemara says like this: Omer Rabbi Yochanan lecharba Yerushalayim. The Gemara for Zayis ala shemidu din meim al din Torah le'avdu lifnim mishuras hadin. Whereas they kept to the letter of the law, and they did not go beyond the letter of the law. They did not, everything they wanted, whenever they did anything, it was according to the din. But they didn't go lifnim mishuras hadin. This is what the Gemara says. So the Hor has a question. There's a famous Yerushalmi that says, Kol hapoter ben adover ba'oseu nikra hedyet. If someone is poter from something, and nevertheless he does the mitzvah anyways, he's called a hedyet. Over here the word hedyet means it's foolishness. He's called a fool. If the Torah poters you and you're poter and you're l'maisi, you want to go lifnim beyond the letter law, the Gemara says, the Rishalmi says, he's called the hedyet. The hedyet over there means to say he's called a fool. Now, this is it's a famous Yerushalmi, and most people maybe know about it because there's also a famous Ramah in Hilchas Sukkah. We know there's a general rule that mitztayer poter ben a sukkah. That means if a person is sitting in a sukkah and there's a lot of tzar there, it's very cold, or whatever it is, there's bees flying around, and he's mitztayer. The Ma'aseh, the Gemara Shami says he's poter min ha-sukkah. And over there, the Ramah says if a person wants to be from, and he wants to sit there, nevertheless, even though he's poter, he's called a hedyet. This is the makor, one of the makors of this cloud, of this Yerushalmi, that he's called the hedyet. So the shaila is, how does this stem with this cloud that we say? Forget, over here it says if they didn't go to the Mishur Sadim, they were punished, and they had to cause the Churban. The Chayar the Shami says it's a narishkeit to go to the Mishur Sadim. So the truth is, there's a bir halacha in Hilchas Sukkah that says, he wants to say like this, he wants to say that what the Rishalmi says, that if you're poter and nevertheless you do it, you're called a hedyet. That's only when you do something and you're poter. By doing so, you're causing the Maaseh a different problem. Because the Moshe on Sukkot, true, the guy wants to be a tzaddik and sit in the Sukkah when he's mitzvah. But the Maaseh, he says on Sukkot there's a mitzvah, on Sukkot to be b'simcha. So over here he's going to try to be a tzaddik, but of course it's an arshkeit, because by trying to be a tzidkas on something that you don't have to do, you're degrading something that you have to do. You have to do the mitzvah of Simchas Yontif. You're degrading the mitzvah of Simchas Yontif, but in the case where you're not doing anything wrong by going lifnim mishas din, then fakir there's an Indian to go lifnim mishuras hadin. This is what the Bir Halacha says. But the truth is, what the Bir Halacha says is very shver, because there's a Taisis in Mesechtes Gittin. Taisis over there says that the Maaseh, we notice halacha that there's a mitzvah when you write a mezuzah. So there's halacha Moshe Sinai that you have to make sirtut. Sirtut means to say that you have to scratch out on the cloth and the straight lines, and then right over these are lines. That's a din by mezuzah. So Taisus says, what if a guy wants to be a tzaddik and do it by a tefillin where you're poter? So Taisus says, no, the Ma'aseh is a hedyet, because the Torah never was mitzvah to do sirtut on a tefillin. So you see, Taisus says nothing to do. by making certain he's not doing any, he's not degrading anything. If anything, maybe he makes the ksiva even nicer. Nevertheless, Tais says if you're potter, you're called a hedyot. So the Hor Kasha comes back. How do these two halachas stem? So the truth is, there's a ritva, a merdik ritva in Kedushin and Daf Lamed Aleph. The Gemara over there says, there's a famous Gemara in Kedushin and Daf Lamed Aleph. The Gemara over there says, a famous Gemara, the Gemara has a shaila, who is greater? A mitzvah vaise, someone who's mitzvah and does a mitzvah, or someone who is not mitzvah? So the Gemara really wanted to say, lechatchila, someone who's not mitzvah is even greater. So the Gemara's maskon is no. The Gemara fears vaise, the maskon is gadol ha-mitzvah vaise, m'sheinu mitzvah vaise. Someone who is greater than someone who's not mitzvah. But the Ritva says it's mashma, the guy who's not mitzvah, he's not as great as someone who is mitzvah. But Lamaisa, he's still great. Lamaisa, he still is going to get credit for doing something that he's not mitzvah. So you see from there that Lamaisa, if I care someone's not mitzvah, Lamaisa, the din is, he does get credit. He doesn't get as much credit as a mitzvah. So the Ritva asks Kasha, how does this klal stem with the Yerushalmi? The Yerushalmi says, this klal, that, if you're potter from Dover, you're called a hedyot. Dover the Gemara in Kedushas Mashmeh, that you do get credit. A guy who's not mitzvah, he just doesn't get as much credit as a mitzvah. This is the Kasha the Ritva asks. So Ritva says a teretz like this. That what the Gemara says, that if you're potter, Benadover, say you're called a hedyot, that is something that the Maisa, there's a universal Torah. There's a Torah the Torah gave to everyone, and no one has such a chiyuv. L'moshel gufa, like let's say mitzvah. Mitzvah is potter ben sukkah. That's a universal Torah. Everyone is mitzvah is potter ben sukkah. Or the same thing, like we said, let's say someone who the Maisa, he wants to make sirtut on tefillin. Everyone is potter. There's no such mitzvahs. It's like a person is trying to make his own mitzvahs. So that is taken narishkeit. But that what the Gemara says, that someone who is Einu Mitzvah is going to get credit, just he's not getting as much credit as the Mitzvah. It's talking about Guva, where he's doing a mitzvah that other people are Mitzvah in. Like the perfect example is a lady is potter, let's say for the mitzvah of Sukkah. But other people, men are mechuyev with the mitzvah sukkah. So it's really, it's a mitzvah. The third is potter ladies. But if they sit in a sukkah, they're doing a mitzvah, they're not making a new mitzvah. They're trying to do the mitzvah that men are mechuyev in. So since they're not trying to make a new mitzvah, so therefore that is not a problem. And for Keret, they're going to get credit. This is the teretz that the Ritva says. But the Maisa, according to this, it comes out for Akasha, because the Gemara in Elam Metzias says this here klal, that Yerushalayim was chorev because people didn't do the name al dinter. The Gemara uses this as an example. The Gemara says there's a klal that someone is mitzvah, let's say, in the mitzvah tino. If you see your fella is trying to load up his animal, you have to try to help him. So there's a mitzvah, everyone has a chiyuv to help him. So the Gemara over there says that but there is someone who has a p'tor. The Gemara says that a zok and ve'en lefi k'vayde, a zok ve'en lefi k'vayde, that it doesn't pass for him, it's below his dignity, he's taka potter. But the Ma'aseh Gemara says, Rabbi Shmuel, even though he was potter, nevertheless, he went lifnim shir and he got involved in the mitzvah of Tina. So that's a perfect example where there's a mitzvah, he's not being mechadish new mitzvahs, because everyone is mechuyev in the mitzvah Tina, because he had a p'tur. So then the Ma'aseh, there's an Indian take go lifnim mishures hadin. This is what the Ma'aseh, he says. But the Ma'aseh, okay, that will for that Gemara. But the truth is, there's a different Gemara in Elam Metzias, where the Gemara says, we know, everyone knows the klal, the Mishnah says, if you find a Metzia, and it's after Yush, let's say it has no simon, it's after Yush, and the owner is Miyayish, so the din is, legally, you're allowed to keep it. Nevertheless, the Gemara brings a story that someone found an Aved after Yush, and they told him that you're mechuyev lafnifnim and shir sadin to return it. So over there, the kasha is, everyone really is potter from returning an Aveda after Yush. And nevertheless, the Gemara comes along over there and says that the Maaseh, he's mechuyev also lifnim mishur sadin. So the kasha comes back. The Maaseh, why should he be mechuyev mishur sadin? We have this general cloud that call apotim and adover b'yosehu nikra hedyet. This is the question. So the truth is, we found the Chidah in the Sefer Birkei Yosef, he says a simple terrace of the question. He says like this, that when the Gemara says, Kol hapotir ben ador v'osehu nikrei hedyet, that is talking about the ma'aseh when you're dealing bein adam l'mokim. Like we said, the Torah says that if you're mitzvah and you're putting from a sukkah, we're talking about now the guy wants to be a big tzaddik and go lifnim shadin. He's not doing anyone any favors, and he's not doing the Rebbeinu Shem any favors. As the Rebbeinu Shem said, you're potter, you don't have to sit in the sukkah. There's no point to sit in the sukkah if you're mitzvah. The same thing by sirtut. The Torah never said a mitzvah of making sirtut by tefillin. You can't say, well, the guy wants to be tzaddik, he wants to go to Fnir. What is he doing? He's not doing the Rebbeinu Shem any favors. The Rebbeinu Shem said, you're potter. In such a case, you're potter. But bein adam lechaveroi, even though legally you're potter, like let's say the case over there, where the person found in Aveda, and it was after Yush. So the Maaseh, over there, the person lost an Aveda. The Maaseh, he feels bad that he lost something. Now so if you, even though legally you're allowed to keep it, if you return to him, you're doing a big chesed. If you're doing a big chesed, so the Maaseh of it is an Indian to go lifnim mishures hadin. This is what he says. But it comes and it seems to him that he's saying there's a chiluk between Bein Adam and a mitzvah, which is Bein Adam l'mokim and Bein Adam l'chaver. So he said like this. There's a Gemara in Mesechtes Brochus. The Gemara says that David HaMelech said, Shomro nafshi ki chosrani. He says that Shomro nafshi ki chosrani. You should guard me because I'm a chosid. So the Gemara over there explains that this is the Gemara in Brochus and Abdallah Raman Aleph. The Gemara says, what did he mean to say he's a chosid? What was the chasidus that he meant to say? So the Gemara says, Chad Omar, one man says, Kach Omar David Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like chosid ani, am I not a chosid? Shekol Malchei Mizrach U'Mariv Yeshenim. Everyone, all the malach, all the kings are sleeping ad shlish shos. They sleep until 3 hours in the daytime. Vani chatzais laila okum lo'ides lecha. I get up in the middle of the night to give praises to you. V'chad Omar Shekol Malchei Mizrach U'Mariv Yoshvim Agudes Ani Yodim L'choches B'dam Nida Kedei Letar Isha L'bayla. So one Manamer says, David HaMelech said that I'm a chosid because of my side I get my hands full of dam, to get him menuchles b'dam, Nida to try to be Matara and Isha L'bayla. He would look at different Maris Adam to see if the lady is Torah or Tomei, and he tried to do it in order to be Matara Isha L'bayla. So that taka is, that's a Bein Adam l'chaver, we understand. Even though really he wasn't really to do such a thing, it really didn't pass for him else to do such a thing, but nevertheless he would do such a thing, and the Mai said that, we understand why it's Limishus didn't, because he's trying to help out this lady to become Torah l'habayla. But the other man there says that what his chasidus is, the his chasidus is that the Mai said that he got up in the middle of the night to give a haidos to Rebbeinu Shem. That of course Bein Adam l'mokim. So the teretz is Poshet, I hold, that what the Birkei Yosef meant to say, he didn't mean to say as a general rule that there's no such thing as Bein Adam l'mokim, to go lifnim shadin. He meant to say when we're dealing with mitzvahs, when you're dealing with mitzvahs which are bein adam l'mokim, there's no any go lifnim shadin. Like we said, the Torah never said a mitzvah to sit in a sukkah when you're mitzvah. So that the Rebbe Shem doesn't gain anything. So it comes out what you're doing is a narishkeit. You're trying to make your own mitzvahs. So that take is a narishkeit. But over here, where the Meister, the person, David HaMelech got up in the middle of the night to give hoidah to the Rebbe Shem, to give praises to the Rebbe Shem, even though he wasn't mechuyev to get up in the middle of the night to give praise to the Rebbe Shem. But Avada, giving praises to the Rebbe Shem, Avada is a great thing, and therefore the Meister, it's taka mitzvah to go lifnim me'ashuris hadin. Now the truth is, the Gemara says that the same idea. There's a famous Gemara in Masechtas Bava Kama. The Gemara says, again, Omer Rav Yehuda Haiman de Boy Linyos Chosid. The Gemara says, if a guy wants to be a Chosid, what is the epitome of Chasidus? So one man says, the Kayim Mila Dinazikin. You should be Kayim Mila Dinazikin. When it comes to Gabi Hezek, you should be very careful not to cause Hezek to his friend. So the word I just want to say, what is the Midas Chasidus? Midas Chasidus is, Avadi, you're not allowed to cause Hezek to your friend. That's not a Midas Chasidus. That is the din. You're not allowed to cause Hezek your friend. But a Midas Chasidus would be to do something to prevent your friend from a Hezek. L'moshel, a guy, let's say, is walking down the street, and it's really dark, and he finds something in the middle of the street or the middle of the sidewalk, a stone. The Meister, he sees it, so he can walk over it and save himself from being damaged. But the Meister, if he's a chosid, he would pick, even though he did not put the stone there, but the Meister, since he knows that people could be walking and they would not see the stone and he'll take it away, that is a midas chasidus. The Gemara there says another thing is, he mekayim mili the office, and another thing is, he mekayim mili the brachas, the Gemara says. So what does it mean? The guy will get meal the brachas. So he be very careful when he make to make brachas and to answer ominam brachas. So even though that is again a media thing which is being odim l'mokim, nevertheless the ma'aseh, since you're giving a bracha to the Rebbeinu Shalom, you're giving a shvach v'idoi, you're giving a praise to the Rebbeinu Shalom, about it that is an Indian of Chasidus. Now the truth is, in Shemon Esrei we say, in Shemon Zocher Chazdei Avois, Umevi Goel Livnei B'nehem L'man Shua B'yavo. So we say the Rebbeinu Shalom should remember the Chazdei Avos. So the Meforshim deal with L'chor is very difficult to say, what does it mean? What kind of chesed do the Avos do that we say the Rebbeinu Shalom should give credit to them, and that should bring the gula. Maybe Goel, because that should bring the gula. What chesed they do? We know Avram did a lot of chesed, and he had an open house, and he had to be a chasodim. He had a lot of chasodim. He would take care of people. The Ma'aseh invite him to the house. But the Ma'aseh, you don't find that by Yitzchak and Yaakov so much. So where's the chasdei office? So the truth is, I found a Gemara in Menachos, and Daf Nun Gimel Amud Aleph. And this is the Lashon of the Gemara. The Gemara says, the Rebbeinu Shalom says, Amra Knesset Yisrael, Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rebbeinu Shalom Hachzik Li Taiva, Shel Diyacha Be'olam. Amra Loi, Taiva Ba'Alecha, Eini Machzik Taiva El Avram, Yitzchak V'Yakov, Shel Diuni Techila Be'olam. So Rebbeinu Shalom says, Machzik Taiva. The Ma'aseh, this is the Chazdei Avos, the Avos, Sai Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they both were Mefarsim. They publicized the existence of the Rebbeinu Shalom in the world, and that's a chesed, the Ma'aseh they did to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Of course, what kind of chesedim can you do with the Rebbeinu Shalom? Teretz is the Rebbeinu Shalom wants everyone to be makar, that he is the balabos in the world, and the Ma'aseh, they were the ones who publicized this yediyah, so that is the Chazdei Avos. And that's not what we want to explain. Before you have to understand, what is the point? How can you say that the Rebbeinu Shalom, if it's you're going Lifnim Shadin, how could that not going Lifnim Shadin? Very difficult to understand how that could create the Churban. If it's Lifnim Shadin, means you're not mechuyev to do it. So the truth is, there's a very chiddushdik Mordechai. The Mordechai, that Gemara in Elam and Sia says that since the Ketaka the Gemara, it says that Yishai was Korb, as a Masha that the Snimli Finish Adin is something that a person is obligated to do. Sometimes you're obligated to go Lifnim Shadin. And he goes so far to say, if he doesn't want to go Lifnim Shadin, Bezin will force him to go Lifnim Shadin. So now the kasha is, the Chayre, if the Meiser is saying he's forcing him, we need to go Lifnim Shadin, is the right thing to do. And it's not something that you have a choice to say, well, I don't want to go to this. If this is the proper thing to do, so the Maisi, you have to do it, and if you don't do it, it's a tiny, and basically will force you. Well, the Maisi, he says, what's the help between din and Fnimshadin? So he says, a very big chiddush. See, in din, we have a klal, Eimer Rachman b'din. You don't have Rachmanis in din. And therefore, the Boshel, let's say, someone lost Naveda. The Maisi, the guy who lost Naveda, the Maisa was a Osher. And the one who found it was an Oni. The Maisa was before Yush. You can't say, well, the guy's an Oni, he could use it more than the other guy who lost it. There's the klal Imerachman b'din. You can't have Rachmanis, that's the din. The din is he has to return it, he has to return it. But let's say he was talking about after Yush, where legally he was not to keep it. Nor is it even if Nimish is a din, you have to have Rachmanis on the guy who lost it. He feels bad. So the Mordechai Tusaf of Chiddush Gol B'Neira, that Lemais, if the guy who lost it was an Osher, and the guy who found it was an Oni, since Lemais, he needs it more, so then Fakert, even though we have a Klal Imerachman B'Din, but that's good for the board, this is not Din. This is Lefnimishir Sadin. If there's a Din Miguba means to say, you have to take it a cheshbon, the person's feelings. You have to take the person's feelings. So over here, Fakert, we have more, it's more important to worry about the Oni, the mice who needs it more, and therefore in such a case we would not force him. This is the Chor de Chiddush. So the Yisrael over that the Yisrael from this whole din is that since so that we're in the 3 weeks, we should try to go Lifnim Yeshur Sadin, especially when you're dealing with your friends. Be nice to your friend and go Lifnim Yeshur Sadin. There should be a excuse to bring the Gula Shlema.